Hello everybody, ZX Presto here, and today I'm going to be doing another True Power video. So, if you haven't seen my last True Power video, it was my very first video I uploaded on this channel, and it was called The True Power of Kakuzu. Now, that video, to this day, even though being my first video, still has the most views out of any video I've uploaded on the channel. So, I decided to make another one, and the first one was about my favorite Akatsuki member, and who I think is one of the most underrated Naruto characters and the most underrated Akatsuki character. And now we're going to do Might Guy. I don't think Might Guy's underrated. I've seen Might Guy fans say he's underrated. I don't think he's underrated. I don't think he's overrated either. I think he's rated just about fine, but maybe a little bit underrated because a lot of people don't think he's as strong as I would argue he is. So, first things first. We've seen Might Guy in 4 major canon fights. I'm going to say major because I'm talking about like going against a villain. Hold on, am I getting that right? Yeah, I'd say 4. I'd say the first one was when he had a little scrap with Kisame and OG Naruto. Second is when he went up against the Kisame clone in Shippuden. Third is when he went up against the real Kisame in Shippuden, and fourth is when he went up against Madara in Shippuden. Now, the funny thing is, in each of these fights, he's in a different form, and I'm going to be going over each of them. So, Might Guy in base form is a lot stronger than people think, because when he debuted in the show, how he got like the wow factor out of viewers and characters in the show, like Kid Naruto and Kid Sasuke and Kid Sakura, is him saying that he's beaten Kakashi in all their fights. Now, the thing is, I'm not sure if he opened any gates against Kakashi. I think the only gates he may have, because we've never seen a fight with him and Kakashi directly, and we've seen that a lot of times just friendly competitions. But I'm assuming they fought, and I doubt he's opened any major gates at least. I think he may have opened the first 2 gates, considering Kakashi has copied them with his Sharingan. But even then, he still had to practice to get the first 2 gates, because that's the thing about the 8 gates formation, is that you can't just copy it or learn it quickly. Doesn't matter how strong you are or how much of a prodigy you are, you have to put in the time and work. And Kakashi, as much of a prodigy he is, and as much of hard work as he puts into things, he's only unlocked the first 2. So maybe fighting Might Guy helped him, but I don't know if Might Guy opened any gates against Kakashi. Maybe he did it all in base, but we know he's pretty strong. And OG Naruto, we saw him punching people through stone walls easily. That's not that big a feat. But in Shippuden, um, it's the episode where they're trying. It's the in the Kazekage retrieval arc. They're trying to get into the Akatsuki hideout where Sasori and Deidara are. Um, so everybody remembers the scene where Sakura punches through the boulder that's blocking the door to the cave. But before that, when the seal was still on, Might Guy was gonna punch it down, and nobody doubted him, and he didn't doubt himself. He knew he'd be able to punch through that if there wasn't a seal. And we see him punch it in base, and the whole mountain itself shakes. Like, shakes hard. And that's in base, and I guarantee he could have broken that stone if the seal wasn't there. And of course, we see Sakura break it using, like, her max strength. I don't know if it was her max strength, but of course, she's using her special strength with the training Tsunade taught her. And she didn't shake the whole mountain. She just, of course, broke the boulder. But that, of course, that could be something with the physics and the vibrations traveling through and the boulder breaking before they can get there. Anyways, I'm just gonna say Might Guy in base form has at least the amount of strength Sakura had at that time using Tsunade's training. Now, secondly, is in the 6th gate form when he fought the Kisame clone, who wasn't Kisame, it was actually, I think, um, 1/3 clone. I can't remember. All I know it was a fraction of Kisame's power, but Might Guy is still very impressive with his speed and strength in 6th gates, because of course we know the move Asakujaku, which is where he goes up in the air and starts shooting a whole bunch of fireballs down with his fists, and we know those fireballs are made purely of taijutsu. I'm trying to remember, I'm not exactly sure, um, but if I'm correct, I think he'd have to be moving, like his fists would have to be moving there's two numbers I'm remembering. It was either his fist would have to be moving 1,700 miles per hour for him to make fire, or 7,000 miles per hour. But it's one of the two. Either way, it's very impressive, especially since he's doing it rapidly and repeatedly. So that's very impressive. Of course, he has a lot of speed. His aura alone was able to just spread the water away, and he beat up that Kisame clone with relative ease because he had to go. He wasn't going all out, but he had to try hard so he could save his students. Just wanted to save his students. Um, and an endurance feat for him is that afterwards he was fine. Like, he wasn't in terrible condition. I mean, of course he was in a little bad condition and he rested for a couple hours, like took a couple hour nap, and then he was just back up and fine and had more energy than Neji or Tenten, maybe Rock Lee, but I don't know. And of course we know that Kid Rock Lee opened the fifth gate and was almost dead. That might just be because he was a kid, but all we know is that he has a lot of endurance, because Pakun himself states that when he recovers from the sixth gate, he says Might Guy is known for his endurance and stamina or whatever. Now, thirdly, seventh gate Might Guy. This was when he fought the real Kisame. In my opinion, one of the best fights in Shippuden. Well, I'd say one of the coolest, not one of the best. I don't even know if I'd say one of the coolest. I'd say it's a good fight. It's definitely an iconic one that people remember. Uh, this is where we see Might Guy go the furthest we've seen him gone before. This is when we realize Might Guy is an absolute monster. At this point in the show, Might Guy is the strongest character we've seen in action, because he's certainly stronger than um, KCM1 Naruto, certainly stronger than EMS Sasuke. I mean, he was absolutely destroying Kisame. Kisame stood no chance, and he was able to do. This first time we saw. Man, I just had it in my head. Hirodora. Yeah, Hirodora. This is the first time we saw Hirodora, one of the coolest moves in Naruto, in my opinion, where he makes a huge tiger made out of wind using purely taijutsu. That attack is awesome. That attack is very strong. Absolutely destroyed Kisame. Now, last but not least, eighth gate Might Guy. Now, this is the form of Might Guy I see people underestimate the most. Now, first things first, we know he's fast. We don't know how fast Well, we do know how fast normally. He's one of the fastest characters we've seen, but we know that Minato's teleportation is faster. But it's a little bit debatable because we know that sixth gate Rock Lee can most definitely throw a kunai harder and faster than Minato, but of course Minato uses teleportation, so he was able to teleport in front of Might Guy and teleport away instantly. So that's how that is. Of course, that could be a reaction time feat from Minato. Anyways, we know Might Guy's super fast. He's able to kick off air and basically fly up to Madara. He has the Sekizo attack, which is basically huge air cannons, just super strong. Those air cannons have a lot of strength. They were able to rip through the truth-seeking orb shield that Madara made, which is impressive because I'm pretty sure he's one of the only characters we've seen break something made out of truth-seeker orbs. That was very impressive, of course, and it's just a very strong move that he could just put a lot of pillars through Madara, a lot of pillars through anybody, and just do a lot of damage. Excuse me. Anyways, something about the Night Guy attack. Okay, so either this is an error in the writing, or it was intentional in the writing, and a lot of people are wrong. So, Might Guy, when he does the Night Guy attack, is the only character that we've ever seen in the Naruto series bend space with their overwhelming speed alone. Because when he was attacking Madara with the Night Guy attack, Madara tried to defend using his staff, and it just warped. Couldn't even touch Might Guy. Might Guy's the only character we've seen do that. So either that's a writing error, that they were just trying to make that scene look cool, or he is one of, if not the fastest characters. I don't know. I don't think he's the fastest character. I think Naruto and Sasuke are probably faster. But one debate that I see people get wrong, in my opinion, is Might Guy versus DMS Kakashi, because in my opinion, Might Guy would win, unless DMS Kakashi played like a wuss and went into his combo dimension. But even then, I feel like Might Guy might be able to get to him before he opens up the portal, or while he's opening up the portal. I think Might Guy might be able to get to him and go inside with him and just whoop him. I don't think Kakashi could win that. I know Madara, I know Might Guy is certainly strong enough to break a Susanoo in 8 gates and maybe even in base. Well, probably not in base. I'd say in 8 gates he could probably break a Susanoo with relative ease. I don't think Kakashi is fast enough to deal with that, especially if he uses the Might Guy attack. I feel like it would just rip through the Susanoo and rip through Kakashi. In my opinion, Might Guy would beat 8 Gates guy. No, what? Why am I saying that? I think Might Guy would beat DMS Kakashi, in my opinion, because the Evening Elephant attack and Night Guy, I feel like would be too much for Kakashi. Of course, he has Kamui Shuriken and Kamui Lightning Blade, and of course, people say Blitz Kaguya. I know, but Might Guy still has the feat of overwhelming Tentail's Madara with the Night Guy attack, of course, and Sekizo. And he still has the speed feat of Night Guy warping space, which, like I said, there's not a single other character that's done that. So, I'm gonna leave this video here. This is just my opinion about Might Guy, and some of the things I said about Might Guy, of course, are true. He's definitely underestimated in my opinion, and to some extent, people even underestimate his base form. Anyways, that was this video talking about the unrecognized power of Might Guy, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye-bye.